There's two types of CBD that you can buy. You can buy isolate or a full spectrum. Now the full spectrum is going to contain everything that's in that hemp plant. Is going to be into that oil. So the CBD, the smallest trace of THC, there is a little bit of THC in a hemp plant, not very much. You'll probably get less than 3% of THC in your CBD product if you bought a full spectrum. But you're also going to get all of those icky toxins that that hemp plant might have possibly picked up from the soil. Now, isolate is just the CBD compound in the hemp plant. So you're not going to get any THC. It's going to be 100% THC free. You're not going to get any of those toxins that the hemp plant could have picked up from the soil. But you don't need to worry about that with us at all, because our hemp plants are grown in 100% organic, clean, natural soil. The seeds are 100% organic. We don't spray any pesticides. There's no chemicals on our products. So you don't need to worry about any toxins in our products, which is what we want, right? We want a healthy immune system, a healthy endocrine system. We don't want any toxins in our body. Now, the CBD works directly with your endocannabinoid system. Now, what the heck is that? An endocannabinoid system basically controls homeostasis in your body. It's basically like a regulatory system for your whole entire body. So it's going to control your mood, your appetite, your reproductive system, your sex drive for all intents and purposes of tonight, your immune response, your body's response to heal when you get a bruise or break a bone or have a sore muscle. So it's a really, really important system that we should support daily. So the CBD tells your body to react to cannabinoids that your body's already making. And these cannabinoids react to all these different receptors on your body that tell it basically what to do. Like, hey, stop yelling at that person, let's calm down and be happy. Or, hey, you have a bruise over here, we should fix that. So that's basically what it does for you. The CBD directs the body to produce more cannabinoids quicker so that you heal faster. No brainer that we want to do that for our body, right? So our CBD, why is it different? We have what we call a smart spectrum CBD. So we have an isolate CBD, so there's no THC, nothing in it besides that CBD compound. And then we add in Young Living essential oils to that Nature's Ultra CBD. Why do we do that? Our essential oils contain terpenes, and terpenes are the only thing that can cross through that blood-brain barrier and go to your I can't say this word ever, guys, lipophilic system. So it's basically going to increase that spectrum of the product. It's going to make it react to your body quicker, faster. We all know that once it crosses through that blood-brain barrier, it reacts in about 20 seconds. So we need that, right? Now, what does CBD do for tonight? Because that's why we're all here, right? We want to know, how is it going to make it better? So CBD is going to reduce your anxiety throughout the day. So when you use it all day long, that anxiety that you have built up, even subconscious anxiety, is going to be reduced. So when you reduce your anxiety, you increase your sexual performance. Who doesn't love that, right? It also increases your sensitivity to touch and enhance your sexual pleasure and deepen all the abilities that you want to deepen are going to happen. So CBD is I'm going to try and say this word. I am not good with big words, guys. Vasodilator. That means it allows fresh oxygenated blood to move throughout your body. When blood flow moves to places, what does it do, guys? Especially for our men. You're going to stand up tall, right? So another reason why you want to use that CBD all day long. Dosing wise, people are like, well, how much do I know what to take? I can't tell you that, because everybody's body is different and we're all exposed to different things. So your endocannabinoid system is going to need something different than, say, your spouse or your best friend. So you have to play around. So what we say to do is start small, take small doses, but spread it out. So take 3 doses a day. Do a little bit of a dropper in the morning, a little bit of a dropper in the middle of the day, and then a little bit at night. Wait about a week and then increase or decrease based on how your body feels. So you really want to pay attention to your mood, your appetite, how your body is reacting to that CBD oil. And then you can determine your doses, but you really, really need to listen to your body. or in that case, your man's body at night. And then Leah, I think, is going to tell us all about the fun oils to help with our fun night ahead of us.
I like that. Yes. Fun night ahead of us. Yes. I loved that description, how CBD works with it all. Cause I'm just like, it's calming, do it. So thank you for all the more specifics on that. Yeah. So perfect. So that's kind of the book that a lot of this is based off of. So I also have that. So Lucy Libido. When I first learned about this, was something talking? Someone need something?
Oh, sorry. Can I interrupt really quick?
Please do. Yes, go.
I just want to do another raffle.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Really quick. Sorry. So second raffle of the night, CBD. Tell us in the chat your favorite product that you might use, favorite CBD product. I have recently started taking CBD, and I feel a difference in my overall well-being, I feel. I always wanted to try it. I never really trusted a brand before, but I'm so happy that Young Living has it now. So just put that in the chat quickly. Sorry, Leah. I
want to say my favorite CBD product so that everybody has an idea. So another thing to help you, especially relax at night and kind of get into that mood that you want to be in, you don't want anything to be like tense and hurting, right? So this CBD muscle rub that we have, I rub this everywhere and anywhere that's sore, and it literally makes my muscles melt and makes you relax and at peace, calm.
I was going to say that too.
So
one is my favorite.
So good. It's so great.
Sarah, I have a question.
Yes.
In kind of related to this class, is there anywhere that you shouldn't be rubbing that, or literally fair game?
I'm going to say fair game. I don't think I've ever rubbed it.
Not like hurt anything.
No. I know like there's like hot oils, right? And they can make your skin kind of jumpy. I have never experienced that with any of the CBD products. I think because they're kind of technically already pre-diluted with that CBD oil. And I have really sensitive skin. Like I put peppermint on and I'm like crying. So for me to say that none of it feels bad on me, it's really sensitive stuff.
Cool. Also, Mary is asking, is cinnamon too strong? I'm not sure what the strong like the cinnamon flavor, maybe. Let me see.
I don't.
Mary, the cinnamon flavor, or like spicy in your mouth?
Spicy in your mouth? I don't think so.
No, I use that. I've recently used the cinnamon one, the tincture, under my tongue, and it's not like overwhelming at all.
Not at all.
I'm wondering if
all the flavors are like pretty mild and really it doesn't give it
too hot for your skin and
no.
your parts.
She's asking if does it make a stinging feeling?
Not on me anyway, but like I said, everybody is different and your body's going to react differently, but I have really sensitive skin with that stuff and it doesn't sting for me, so I think that you should.
I mean, the cinnamon oil itself, if it wasn't already in the CBD, then it's like a spicy feeling, but in the CBD oil it doesn't. Okay. Okay, Leah, sorry I interrupted you and went off on this whole thing, but if you want to take it away again with the oils.
Yeah, no, raffles are important. So especially because the muscle rub is really nice to start things off, because that's also my favorite one, and I usually end up with it right here because of stress, but it can go lots of places, maybe not inside, but almost everywhere else. Okay, so Lucy Libido, I can tell you like her history and how it all started, but we can get to the meat and potatoes of this activity rather than just drone on for hours. When I'm in person, it's a little bit different. So just, bear with me, if you will. And how we've kind of been doing, if you have questions, you can definitely say them in the chat. Caitlin's going to be looking, or you can do the reaction, so the hand wave, and then Caitlin will kind of like call on you. So that way we don't miss it, because on my screen, I can only see like a little bit. Okay, so I'm also having notes just in case, okay, so that I don't forget things. So we're going to start with a teeny bitty activity that's in that Lucy likes to start her classes with when she does this. Basically, if everyone should have a piece of paper, hopefully, and a pen. And what we're kind of going to do is just take a minute or two. It's basically an exercise called You Are Beautiful. And when I first read this, I was like, I don't got time for this shit. But we should take the time. So that's why I'm doing it real quick. So take your nice piece of paper. Yeah, like, is that blank? And I'm going to kind of just read like 2 little paragraphs that she says. So one of the first things that Lucy talks about is the importance of recognizing your own inner beauty. She speaks of 2 voices that we hear, the critical voice and the forgiving voice. I actually just did a post on this on Instagram because I was like, oh, right, this. The critical voice finds ways to improve. We hear this voice when we choose to present ourselves in the best light to others. We wish to look, feel, and act our best. We also hear a forgiving voice. This voice is kind and wise. This voice reminds us of our strength and value regardless of our shortcomings. Both of these voices are normal and healthy when they are balanced. Too often, though, we listen to the critical voice more than the forgiving voice. Remember to be kind to yourself and to listen to both voices equally. But if you ever hear a voice that says you aren't sexy enough or are not good enough to be with a partner, be aware that you're no longer listening to that, something that's part of you. Those are external lies. You are enough, and your beauty is inextricably bonded like your name, which I thought was really beautiful. So in this piece of paper, or whatever, hold on, I have a Young Living notebook with pretty lavender fields. You write on the top of it, if you're up for this tiny exercise, and it says, I am beautiful. That looks backwards, but write it out if you're up for it. And it says, I am beautiful at the top. And we're going to take, I am going to time this because I don't want this class to last 6 hours, although I kind of do. But so we're going to take 20 to 30 seconds, and you're going to write, it says 3. If you can think of 3 right off the bat, awesome. But at least 1 beautiful thing about yourself. It can be your hair. It can be your soul. It can be you make a good pasta, like anything that works with that. So internal, external, or skill for you. So we're going to start the clock now. So I can do that math. So you have 20 to 30 seconds. I don't have any fun music to play though, but whatever. I like the Jeopardy music.
Next time you'll have to get some music.
Yes, I didn't even think of it. I love that idea. 5 more seconds, maybe. Unless you guys are like having a good time, then we'll keep it going. Okay, so I definitely did more seconds, but who cares? So I'll just share mine really quick. So hopefully you guys come up with one. If you're up for it and you want to share, totally share in the chat. Sometimes it's fun to just see, what people come up with, because it reminds you of that quality in yourself where you're like, yes, that person does have that, if you know people. So for mine, I was like, my hair's pretty. And then I went for my empathy, which sometimes is hard to deal with because I'm like, I love everyone. I feel everything. And that's a lot, hence oils, because emotions. So those were some of mine that I had written down. So sometimes it's important to just remind ourselves of those things. Ooh, I love Caitlin's forgiving, open-minded, and yes, your eyes are pretty. See, I love that. So yes, feel free to share away if you so choose. So Sarah hinted at this about the sea to seal with Young Living. So a lot of us in this group use Young Living and understand kind of the quality difference between Young Living and a lot of other things out there. So I'm going to kind of just run through this part a little bit quick. If you have questions and I went too fast about something with sea to seal, stop us, ask at the end, message whoever brought you here, and we can get you more information. The key with this class and sea to seal and why it's so important is that you're putting oils in some places. Like, so I'm going to use some words like vagina and penis tonight, maybe some other ones. So, because this is about sex and hormones. So you're putting things inside yourself and you kind of want that to be of a certain, not caliber, whatever, caliber, you get the idea. So what?
Quality.
Yes, thank you. It's like, there's another world. That's the word we're looking for. Because of that. So that's kind of why she talks about it a lot, is because of that factor, because you're going places that you don't want other certain oils. Okay, so here we go. Therapeutic grade essential oils are very potent. It takes 150 pounds of lavender blossoms to make 1 pound of pure therapeutic grade lavender oil. For this reason, it's really important to have the 100% pure Young Living therapeutic grade lavender. And that's actually more value than one that is cut with lavandin, which is a hybrid plant that's similar smell to lavender, but it's cheaper, or oils that are pre-diluted with a carrier oil, and they don't actually have to put that on the label always, or that are altogether synthetic. And the whole point in theory of using oils is you don't want synthetic crap on your body. So a true essential oil is the lifeblood of the plant. Oils carry valuable properties inherent to the plant. Each plant has a different value based on its chemical makeup. When taken from the plant and used in the human body, this lifeblood bestows those same properties into the human body. Crazy cool. These properties are called chemical constituents and are what make essential oils living, bioavailable superstars. So again, it kind of goes a little bit more deep into that. I'm just making sure to make sure. Okay, so yeah, so in other words, like, use the good kind because it's going in. All right, so this is actually kind of, I'm going to show this picture, just you can kind of see her leg. I know I should have screenshotted this one. It's upside down. So like, here's the knee and here's the inner thigh. I'm sure you all have those parts and know about them, but just in case. So you can use them obviously in a diffuser. I'm on a computer, I'd show my diffuser, but it's right there. On your body, depending upon the oil with dilution, which we'll talk a little bit about here. And then obviously you can eat ours, not all of them, but you know the little vitality labels, and we've talked at length probably about that in other classes and with each other, but short version again, because for real, we could be here forever, but don't put pure cinnamon bark essential oil on your vagina. Just don't do it. So that's a disclaimer. Don't do it on the penis either, because that's very painful. So Mary was bringing up good points. So cinnamon, I think CBD over there, probably okay, but like, let's not test that. I've not tested that personally, so I'm not going to say anything about that. Probably next to it's good, in my personal opinion. So hot oils like that, and like peppermint, even though that's the cooling, that's that's another one that's like, ooh, don't do that. But nearby, it's fine. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, good. So Idaho Blue Spruce and Goldenrod are two we're going to talk about tonight. Those are grass, so it's generally regarded as safe, which the FDA has a standard for that. So it's similar really to the Vitality in the sense that you can consume those internally. So now I'm going to get a little bit closer to actual information. So if we were in person, you would probably have this little pamphlet that says there's an oil for that and all these cool ways to take notes. So, but we're not. So that's why I said a reminder of have the paper, because I remember last class, everyone was like, I have so many questions, so many notes, and they needed more than even just this. So glad you guys have the paper. Okay, so let's just make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so we're gonna actually start talking a little bit about balancing hormones. Everyone has hormones. Women have a lot of them. They do a lot of different things at a lot of different times in your life, in your month, like just wildly different things. And for each person, of course. So I'm going to read a little bit from her and then from my own stuff. So just bear with us all here. So there's some confusion as to whether or not hormones are healthy and whether they increase or decrease the likelihood of disease. When natural hormone levels are high, women tend to have less issues with PMS, menstrual migraines, and low libido. However, when these levels are low, a woman may choose to supplement with a synthetic chemical hormone to ease her symptoms. While these chemicals do help ease symptoms, they have been linked to high rates of other diseases. Phytoestrogens, like those found in Clary Sage, are plant hormones that are similar to mammal estrogens and are bioavailable in the human body. The wild yam extract found in Progressence Plus increases progesterone without the synthetics. So when you're considering the safety of hormones, think of it this way. Human hormones, great. Plant hormones, good. Synthetic hormones, bad. Now that that's clear, let's talk about oils that balance your hormones. Get your pens ready. Obviously, that's simplified. Yes. Do we have a question? Did you raise your hand, Caitlin, or you're just happy? Okay, good. Pens. I like it.
Oh, I just literally have my pen ready.
Okay, good. I was like, oh, what are we doing? Okay, good. So now we're going to talk about Progressence Plus. So Caitlin and I were talking this afternoon. I was like, P+, because that word is just sometimes difficult to say. See, there's, screenshots, yes. So you can take screenshots, whether you're on your phone or just take a picture of the computer. This way you can see the spelling of the oils. And some of the pictures are actually a little bit funny and kitschy that she created. So this one's a powerhouse, Progressence Plus, or P+, however you like to call it, because Progressence can be a mouthful, especially if I'm going fast. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, feel free to take screenshots of this. We're going to leave them up for about 30-ish seconds, maybe a minute. And then again, if we're going too fast or you've missed it, raise your hand, type in the chat, so we can get this info out to you. I am probably going to speak fast. Hey, that's how I roll normally. And I do not really want you to be here for 6 hours for your time that you have devoted to this. Although again, we could totally do that. So Progressence Plus, this magical little bottle right over here. I was like, where'd it go? Is an oil-infused serum developed just for women. The doctor who developed Progressence Plus created it for Young Living based on his findings that most women have very little natural progesterone. This is a problem because progesterone is a hormone that impacts libido, mood, and overall wellness. Progressence Plus contains USP progesterone from wild yam extract, vitamin E, sacred frankincense, bergamot, and peppermint to soothe the crazies and calm your mind. Wear it daily on your wrists or several times a day during times of hormonal stress. Progesterone levels tend to drop the lowest a few days before and during menstruation. So a lot of people that I know will use this right before they're going to get their period or just during their period. Some women I know use this every day, morning and night, or just have it because they like to smell it. And then they notice the effects, so they just keep on going. Can it be ingested? In my head, I'm going to do it, but technically no. So like official wording, I'm just going to read just in case, because I tend to go a little crazy and I'm like, yes, everything, but not technically, no. It's not marked grass or vitality. So like official statement from Young Living, no, but it can be on your body. I have not tried it in my vag. I don't know why it would. So, but you never know. So, but official Young Living word is only on the skin. And I do know people who diffuse it, but mostly on the skin. So I'm like stamping the approval of Young Living on that statement. So there you go. Okay, so this one's really important. Again, you can wear it daily, prevent irritability during, before your cycle, and this actually helps your happy hormones keep those a little bit higher. And especially right now, we probably want a lot of happy things. I'm like, give me all the happy. And she literally says when your hormones are happy, you're more likely to feel happy as well, because literally that is the case. Okay, so that is awesome. Yes, raising your hand. Are you raising your hand, Caitlin?
Yes, I actually have a question.
Yeah.
So I've definitely used this before when levels were low. Like I've had blood work, levels were low, used it. But is there even a case that levels are high? And can people still use that? Will it still?
Yeah. My mother is high and she cannot use that. A lot of some like breast cancer survivor people have high progesterone, so they can't use any of like these kind of supplements. So it's really important that you're like aware of, like I said, your specific body and needs before you start using things.
Yes.
Sorry,
That's a
Leah.
good answer.
Had to throw that one in there.
No, jump in by all means, you know, I'm all about that. Because there's plenty, I'm sure, that I do not know, even with knowing lots of other things. So yes, good question. I usually tell people to get tested if they're able to. I do know some people who haven't had like breast cancer or anything else, you know what I mean? Like they're overall healthy. And I usually will just tell them, if you can't get tested, you can try it and see what happens. But if you've had something, especially very hormonal related, like if you had a broken leg, I wouldn't really worry. But like breast cancer or some other, we'll say disease, I hate that word, but you know what I mean? Then I would try to get tested first and figure that out. So yes, awesome question. And thank you, Sarah. So we're going to go to the next slide, Caitlin. And this is a lot of oil, so I'm going to go quick probably. So as you can see, there's these four, which I kind of liked. Will get you balanced. So Lady Scleral, Dragon Time, Sclerescence, and Endo Flex. These do a lot, so this is good that she kind of narrows it down. So yeah, if you want to take a screenshot, this is a good place to do so. So Lady Scleral, which I don't have with me right now, is first and foremost a lady hormone balancing oil. It contains oils known to decrease negative emotions, boost confidence, and help the wearer to feel more peaceful and grounded. Geranium aids in hormonal balance, and Clary Sage aids with cramps, PMS, and agitation. Yangling helps to balance male-female sexual energy and encourages feelings of sensuality. It does. We're going to talk a lot about Yangling in a little bit. Sage lavender has been shown to increase the body's estradiol levels, which equates to being more regular. It can be worn daily as a perfume because it smells delicious, and it truly, truly does. I wish I could help you smell it. I cannot right now, but it's really yummy. Not only will you smell amazing as you are, but you'll feel more balanced and in tune with your partner, which is really nice because Lord knows why not. I'm all about increasing happiness with sexual experiences. So if you can create more balance, let's do it. So that was really, really like, again, normally at this time I'd be like passing it around and we'd all talk about how great it smells, but not today. So that's a really awesome one that does a lot. We're gonna go to Dragon Time, which I have right here. This is my child. I don't usually leave home without it, even though I mostly use it around when I have my period, but because I think you'll talk about this here, it's like calming the crazies, because sometimes we all get a little crazy. So Dragon Time is a hormone balancing oil that was developed just for that time of the month. I do know people who use it more often, for the record. Dragon Time is chock full of the best oils known to alleviate PMS and menstrual woes. This blend works primarily by raising estradiol levels in the body, which also drop during menstruation. Apply this oil all over your abdomen several times a day. Lucy loves it in Epsom salts during a nice warm bath. Dragon Time is gentle enough that even teens can use it. And yes, I really wish I had this when I was a teenager because life's crazy when you're that young. Or, maybe all the time, but definitely when you're young because you don't know how to handle anything. So Dragon Time is one of my favorites. I didn't either, Caitlin, before I read this. And I was like, that's freaking perfect because sometimes you're like body aches. You're just like, I'm done with life right now. And then putting, bath bombs. Okay, sorry, I get excited with the chat. So I'm like, yes, I want that. So that's a really good one. If we do this class again, that should be like the giveaway because I want that. So yeah, Dragon Time's a really good one. And I really actually like the smell of it. Some people don't because there's a little bit of fennel in there, but it's also like, I really like it. So I really wish I could pass you smell things. But if someone's like having an attack and wants to smell it, let whoever invited you know, and we'll like find a way to get you some because it's magical. Okay, so now we're going to move to, not the next page. Oh, yes, the next page. To sclerescence, which I have. I love when I have it. I actually use this one every day on my lower back. I don't know why, that's just where I put it. So we have sclerescence is another hormone supporting oil that loves your girly systems. All the oils in Sclerescence Vitality, which is the little girl right here, are grass. So you can consume it as you would know from the white label. So the beauty of having an estradiol increasing blend as a dietary supplement is that women can take a daily internal supplement that supports and loves on their reproductive system. Low estradiol levels are commonplace amongst women with female irregularity and or female complaints. There's a lot that could go into those complaints, but one thing at a time. While reproductive health is multifaceted and has many components to it, supporting healthy estradiol levels is one factor in a healthy reproductive system. Beyond the reproductive system, estradiol also plays an important part in bone health, energy levels, metabolism, libido, and emotional well-being. That's a lot of stuff. That's awesome. So this little girl, I think it's definitely not pricey, and I'm pretty sure I've gotten it for free. I think in February they do it. I could have also made that up, but I have like 4 bottles from free Essential Rewards gifts. So I love this one, and I forgot I could take it internally, so I'm probably going to go do that next. Okay, so our next one is Endo Flex. This one's amazing. And it smells like minty. I really want to make you guys smell it, but you can't. So think of spearmint and think of how happy that maybe makes you. Okay, so Endo Flex is a hormone balancing oil that flexes and strengthens your endocrine system. The endocrine system is responsible for telling your body what hormones to produce and when to produce them. It regulates metabolism, growth, development, tissue function, sexual function, reproduction, thyroid function, sleep, and mood. That's a lot of things, and we kind of want them all to work well. I know a lot of people with thyroid issues that Endo Flex is a game changer. Endo Flex supports the I was like, that's not a word, pineal and pituitary glands and the adrenal glands. Endo Flex can be used topically directly over the thyroid. Endo Flex Vitality can be taken as a dietary supplement to support all parts of the endocrine system. So again, you could take, if you wanted, these two little bad boys in a capsule every day, if that was what your body called for. So, oh, good. Thank you, Chantel. Part of the PV promo this month. I'm always just like, everything's PV. Give it all. Because I need it all. So yes, it's powerful. That's all. Short version. Again, this is all very short version, so there's a lot of info. That's why I'm flying through. Okay, Caitlin, the next slide, if you're up for it, is Yang Lang. Now, ladies, let me tell you, I love this oil a lot. Oops, yeah, there we go. And I just thought it's cute. Just get over here and kiss me, because it's very like floral and happy, because it's a flower, so that would make sense. But it smells very, I want to say girly, but that sounds terrible. So I'm going to read what she says and see where it goes. Not that I haven't read this 20 times, but you know. So these is the oils we're about to talk about. The previous ones were more hormone balancing, and this is more specifically for libido, which again, they're all interconnected, as Sarah was talking a lot about. But for, you know, our purposes, we're going to put these in like the libido category, if you will. Okay, so I'm just making sure that everything is doing what's supposed to on my screen. Okay, so Yang Lang. So you can take a screenshot or could, yes, if you need to know about that. So its power as an aphrodisiac has long been known. In Indonesia, the petals of the Yang Lang flowers are scattered over the bed of newlywed couples on their wedding night. It has traditionally been viewed as a romantic flower and has an alluring scent. Yang Lang is one of the ingredients in both joy and sensation oil blends, which we're going to talk about those. Lucy says that it's especially wonderful because it increases libido in women, and men tend to respond to the scent on their women as well. Yang Lang is a bright yellow flower that grows in Ecuador, which Caitlin got to pick, and so she can share that later if she wants, which is really cool. The petals are picked early in the morning to maximize oil yield. The oil increases feelings of happiness, adoration, romance, and it calms the mind. Its calming effect can even lower blood pressure just a tad to help you feel zen. So I really like this one for a whole host of reasons. Sometimes I'll diffuse it before I call it sexy time night, because it really is just like one of those that's like, ah, okay, I'm happy now and I'm calmer now. It's also for self-love. So like not even necessarily in the sexual self-love, although we can absolutely go there. It's also in like the mental and emotional self-love. Oh, that's what my post is about too. But because often we forget about that part of ourselves, that we can love ourselves. And so that's an important aspect emotionally too. So I love this one. And it's also in a lot of the inner thigh potions as well that we will talk about. So now we're going to go to our next one, which is Valor. Oh, Valor. This one is magical. I mean, where to go? Okay, so, I mean, you guys can see it on the paper and also in my hand. Valor is incredible. There's no real other words for that. And I sometimes forget about how amazing it is. So I'm going to tell you about it. Okay, so there was also, this makes sense with what I'm going to read. There was Valor 2 that came out when Valor, call it Valor 1, but regular Valor was out of stock for a couple of years because of supply issues, and Young Living doesn't like to hurt the land. So if they kept farming, it would have been detrimental to the soil, and they're really big on that. So they stopped, lost Valor. People were pissed. They understood why, but they were still a little bit mad because they really, this oil is pretty damn magical. So they created Valor 2, which is fine, but then original, well, actually it's not the original, but the almost original Valor came back, so it's magical. So I'm going to talk a little bit kind of about both in there, just so you guys have a context of why I'm mentioning this thing, Valor 2. Okay, so Valor was so popular it got an entourage. Valor 2 followed the original Valor when it became too popular. Both blends are designed to help loosen emotional blocks. Both Valor and Valor 2 contain oils that stimulate the limbic area of the brain. They help you to relax and promote feelings of confidence and courage. This is the perfect choice to use liberally throughout the day to keep stress levels down. In the bedroom, it also smells amazing diffused. You can wear Valor over your heart, on your wrist, or on the back of your neck. I tend to put it on my third eye, like the pineal gland right here, or sometimes I dump it all on my head because I want all of it. And blue tansy, which is in it, 99% in it, just in case I'm wrong, is really good for like also your skin and everything. But also I think of my hair as part of my skin. I realize that's illogical, but I like it on there too. So you can put it in a lot of different places, and it really is like, for like kids, we call it like the superhero oil because it gives you those confident feelings. And so I love it, short version. And she says, if Valor could talk, she would say, don't worry, be happy. It's going to be okay. So Valor contains spruce, rosewood, blue tansy, okay, good, I was wrong, and frankincense. And in case you end up getting Valor too, that contains, a lot of good ones. Northern Lights black spruce, Idaho blue spruce, ylang-ylang, frankincense, vetiver, cistus, bergamot, cassia, German chamomile, geranium, coriander, and davana. So it's a lot actually in there. Valor helps you feel confident about whatever is imminent, so you can feel self-assured during the day at the office or fearless at a night in the bedroom. So I've actually used this before sex, and even though I have a fiance and we have lovely sex and everything's great, I don't have to be really nervous. It still is just this like, I don't really have words. I'm looking for words to say this, but it just gives you the confidence to do whatever you may want to do in the bedroom. So Valor for the win, and everywhere else, but also there, since that's the focus of tonight. So we're going to move to our next oil and slide of Clary Sage. So here's a little bottle for my girl. And I love this oil also. I mean, I kind of love all of them, but you know. And actually, Lucy Libido says that Clary Sage is a girl's best friend. So Clary Sage is one of the main oils that helps with PMS, and that's also in the Dragon Time blend. And it helps with balancing hormones, as we kind of know. And so Clary Sage is also in sclerescence and lady scleral. Right around that red time of the month, estrogen levels drop quickly and drastically. This is part of the reason why you may feel the need to break down crying when you see, I don't know, like a commercial where someone just has emotion and you just lose your shit. That's what happens to me. I don't have TV anymore. I still cry at the thought of this particular Folgers coffee commercial. Don't know why, but especially at that time of the month, it's extra. So to use the example of your eyeliner doesn't go on straight, I also have cried over that. So everything is tragic when your estrogen levels are low. So how does this tie in with libido? This is really cool. You see, a woman naturally feels more in the mood when her estrogen levels are higher. You have a question, Caitlin? Go.
Okay. So this got me thinking. I think you did a one-liner before. This would be great for teenagers. Is there any, in your opinion, difference with using on younger people that maybe just started getting their period, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. So from what I have read, and honestly every person's body's different, you know the spiel. Generally speaking, no, it's women, young little women, have, because they're just starting their menstrual cycle, we don't entirely, I can't possibly, say when Mila gets her period, totally, she should choose all of these, no. But I do know there's a book called, I think it's actually called Taming the Dragon, written, we're going to say by a doctor, who uses Young Living and uses Dragon Time with her daughter, especially right when she got her period. So I know, and Dragon Time contains Clary Sage and Lady Scleral, or no, one of the other ones in there, besides the fennel that I always mention. So generally, from what I know, that one's definitely A+, okay. I don't know about Progressance Plus. I think it also, kind of how Sarah said, depends on the person. So on whether or not, I'm going to use Mila as an example because that's your daughter, whether Mila has high or low progesterone, and also at 13, I'm going to use 13 as an example, what that can look like too. So I would say if you were oh my God, if Mila had her period today, we'd have to call someone very important like Mary Young and get some hospitals going. But when she's 13 and has that, I would be Dragon Time would be my first, and then kind of go from there. So, but Taming the Dragon has a much more in-depth answer.
Okay, awesome. I looked that up, so I'm going to type it in the chat. the Taming.
Oh, yes,
Thank
awesome.
you for
That's
that.
a really good one. Jackie loves that one too, because it goes more in depth, but it's actually not like 82,000 pages. So that's a good one for anyone really, actually, but definitely if you're talking about Amelia in 10 years or less, you know, I would start with Dragon Time and that book. So that way you can get more. Oh, she's a nurse, I think, who wrote it. Whatever. You get my point. So that's my very long-winded answer to that. So Clary Sage, right? No. Yeah, we're in that. Okay. I ripped my book, so I lost my page numbers. Okay, so Clary Sage. What's it have to do with libido? Okay, so we kind of talked, I think I said this sentence, but I'm gonna say it again, because when a woman is naturally feels more in the mood when her estrogen levels are higher. This is because our estrogen levels are highest when we're ovulating, which would make sense. So we're designed to feel more in the mood when we're fertile. It's how we were made. As we age, our estrogen levels drop. One sign of low estrogen is dryness down there. Applying Clary Sage to the inner thighs and below the navel helps to increase natural lubrication. Clary Sage Vitality, I only have the big one, but you can also consume that. So you could actually put that in your capsule if you wanted. And Lucy says if you want to be naturally juicy and more frisky, add a drop of the Clary Sage to your daily routine, which I do, several drops. So, because why not? Who doesn't want more friskiness? I end up putting it here for some reason. I think that's because I put so many oils and I, in my head, don't want to layer them all. So I'm like, here, 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 on the back. And then they end up here too. So put it wherever it calls to you. So that's Clary Sage. Also, again, very short version. If you look that up, like if you go to pubmed.gov and you want studies on that, there's some really cool information, like scientific work on that and how that impacts women's hormones. So there's a lot. Again, that's why I'm rolling through and going fast. Okay, so now our next one is magical, called, well, they're all magical, joy. And so joy's coming on the thing too. I'm actually gonna smell this bad boy because, okay, it's just it's another calming one. Okay, so did someone know? Oh, here we go. I did not know this, except every time I read it, I'm always surprised again. So this bottle, Gary Young created this, What's in Joy, and they actually originally named it Love, which makes a lot of sense. So the oils in Joy stimulate the brain's sense of love and affection. Diffusing joy is a good way to invite the mood. If you don't love the aroma of joy, try blending it with some lemon to make it more bright, or blend it with Clary Sage to make it more earthy. This oil can be used aromatically or topically to raise frequency and to increase feelings of love. It's fantastic in love lubes and inner thigh potions, which we'll talk a little bit about too. I don't ever really leave home without this one because if I am stressed or just having a moment, this one just brings me into I guess to a happy place because, you know, oh, I love that, Kathleen. That's beautiful. Spreading it on the pillow. I love, or spraying. I love that. So there's like multi uses with this. I know some people are, because it is very floral. At first they're like, oh, no, I don't want that, which is a whole other thing. But adding that citrus, you know, like the lemon in there can do that, or the grounding Clary Sage. I've also added like the Idaho blue spruce in there because that's a very like, it's spruce trees, so it's a very grounding one in that too. So you can play around with how you want that to work with you. So joy is just magical, and I love the little picture. Yes, I agree, Caitlin. Everybody needs joy all the time. That's another one I'll pour in my head because I want joy everywhere. You know, yeah, everywhere. And I love, so the little picture too says, need a little more joy in your sheets. So I like that too. So you could diffuse this in there for sure. Okay, so now we're going to go to our next one, which is also magical. Again, everything. Oh, this one. Okay, so this one always makes me think of teaching this class because it is called Sensation. And let me tell you, it is, I'm going to be corny and say it's sensational because it is. It's just a smell that's like, give me the sex, which I'm all about that. So again, it's sensational. And she's like, it also starts with the letter S. And I'm like, yes, it does. So Sensation is an alluring blend of yangling, rosewood, and jasmine. It smells like joy, but a little bit softer because it contains less geranium. And that's what gives joy its very strong floral scent. It creates a mood of flirtation and tenderness. Not a lot of people know about Sensation, but it's named that for a reason. It's simply sensational, as I discussed. So sensation can be used aromatically to set the tone. You can also use it, there's a massage oil that Young Living has. I think they still have it. And it's, okay, good, they still do. And so I'm like, it's this big, doesn't really matter. But that's a beautiful one for massaging before your event, if you so choose, of course. You can also diffuse it, like I said, we'll say before the event. Oh, and the lotion. Oh, I had the lotion too. Okay. I have Genesis next to me. Okay. And so you can diffuse it. And so a lot of women have diffused it before sexy time. And so when the man or, you know, whoever smells that, they're like, oh, sexy time tonight. So I roll with that. So I really like that. It smells so soft and sweet on your chest. I have definitely put it on my chest before a night of activities. It's fantastic for inner thigh potion. So I showed you that little diagram. Again, you probably know where your inner thigh is, but just in case. And in love lubes. So love lubes, I'm sure you know what lube does. It's lube. So it's great in that too. Lucy says sensation is so powerful and yet so mild that it can be used with very little dilution directly on your lovey-dovey lady bits. So I'm going to be a little graphic, but on like your clit, like on the outside, like with coconut oil, most women don't have an issue at all playing around with that. Again, everyone's different. If you're going to use any oil anywhere, really, spot test it. So, you know, I've done it where like if I'm going to do something lubey, I test it right on the inner thigh, right next to that, because that is a sensitive skin area. I've not had a problem. Again, everyone's different. Do your own research, all the disclaimer words. But I like that she comes right out and says that. And so, and she's like, there's a reason it's called sensational, because again, it increases your sensations. So who doesn't want orgasms? I want orgasms. So if sensational is going to help me, I'm going to do that. And plus it smells yummy. So that's sensational. Again, also short version. So Cypress is our next slide. And oil. This one is magical. Again, all of them. Sorry, guys. I need a new word. I should write out like 15 adjectives to use, but whatever. So I am a big fan of Cypress because it smells very, very earthy. And so as you can see on this picture, it's got a mustache and a lipstick, so it can actually be used for both men and women. I mean, all of them can, but like, you know, as our focus is, you know, it's for both, because now we're kind of into the both section, if you will. So Cypress is called by Lucy the Thigh Master. It's her favorite oil to use in the inner thigh potions for the bedroom. It can be used for men and women, but we're going to talk about it here in terms of use for women. That helps ladies get swollen in the floodgates. We can talk about what that means if you'd like to know more information. Well, short version. The reason Lucy loves Cypress so much for in between the sheets is because Cypress stimulates blood flow and circulation in the body. Sarah talked a little bit about blood flow also. We want that not just for our men and, you know, standing at attention, but for us too, because blood flow just makes orgasms happen. Not like instantaneous, but helps that happen. So again, the reason Lucy loves this so much is because blood flow, it's kind of a big deal when you're talking about squirming beneath the covers. If you need help getting engorged, so that can also be our clit or penis, which we'll talk about that as well, I think, when we talk about the men aspect. But engorged, Cypress is your friend. Lucy says if you want him standing at attention like a saluting Navy SEAL, she makes a lot of like, whatever these things are, analogies, whatever. So if we say standing at attention with a soldier, the dick is hard. But I'm going to read it as she does in case people get funny and don't want to hear the word dick 25 times. Although I don't mind, I'm going to, you know, keep it nice. So to have the saluting soldier, that depends a lot on blood flow, a ton, in fact. So Cypress is really, really good for that. And likewise, super duper, oh my wow, explosions or orgasms for women depend a lot on blood flow as well. So we can see the pattern. Cypress equals blood flow and blood flow equals orgasm magic. So apply it to your inner thighs. Apply it on his inner thighs. Mix it with your other favorites, but don't forget the Cypress. For the love of Lucy's favorite, don't forget the Cypress. So that's a really big one. I've used it personally on the inner thighs in massages. Yeah, that's really it. I don't really diffuse it. It's also really good just for muscle like calmingness too. So it can be used for many other things. But in this way, yeah, in the inner thigh is for the most part. And again, I've definitely massaged like on my back. Well, I've not done it, but you know what I mean, before activities. Do you have another question, Caitlin?
Would you dilute it or neat?
I have not personally, because it's not a hot oil in the way that like cinnamon or thieves or peppermint might be. By all means, again, if you're particularly sensitive or you want to do a spot test, like go for it. It's generally one that doesn't super need dilution usually. But yeah, again, do all the research. But for me, I did not need any dilution at all. Sometimes what I'll do when I'm doing like massaging before sex, I will end up with coconut oil just to like do more massaging. I start on the back usually, you know, getting a little window. But because coconut's easier to like spread around when I'm massaging. So it sometimes ends up diluted anyway, but not, I don't purposefully do it. If you're making a love lube with it, it's clearly diluted, as Chantel will talk about with the DIY. So yes, official short, long answer. So Cypress is magical and smells like trees. So I love it. Orange is our next one. So if we want to do the slide, we have orange, which is literally orange. You all know what orange is. And I love this. Orange, you glad I'm an aphrodisiac? Yes. Yes, we are. So this one is just, it's just yummy, as most of them tend to be. So this, I'm going to read some of what Lucy says. She says that orange is like a drop of happiness in a bottle. It's a bright oil. It welcomes light and happiness. And it really does, personally, anyway. I smell it and I just think, sunshine and trees and happiness. It brightens the mood, it lifts the spirit, it energizes the mind, and creates feelings of bliss. Think of summer childhood days playing in the water, eating bright popsicles out in the sun. I'm like, I want to do that now. For the adult, orange helps to let go of stress and enjoy being in the moment. This is another one. If you want more studies or more science on this, go to the pubmed.gov, type in orange and stress, and you will see a lot of really cool studies on how that actually works with our body and that it really does work. So the oil opens up the sacral chakra, which is near our pelvic area. This chakra is associated with pleasure, creativity, and sensuality. Orange is an aphrodisiac oil that helps you let go of your grown-up problems and embrace sexuality and fun. Orange is awesome for frigidity. It can help you relax if you have low libido due to a bit of anxiety. It's fantastic when mixed with a floral like ylang ylang or with an equalizer like Cypress or Clary Sage, some of the more grounding ones. It can be used in the diffuser to help you chill or on the inner thighs to unwind and let go. Orange is also good for the man because it increases glutathione levels. This is because orange contains high levels of citral and D-limonene, which stimulate glutathione production in the liver. Glutathione is one of the necessary components of a nice frozen popsicle or a hard soldier penis. Low levels of glutathione are more linked to melting creamsicles, so becoming soft. So aside from smelling like a carefree summer ice pop, it will support the big stick as well. Lucy recommends using several drops topically near the liver. So again, with orange, you can do a whole host of things. You could put it in a massage blend. You could diffuse it. You can drink it. Don't drink a lot of it, you know, take a drop. You can, again, just sniff it before bed. You just endless, really, because it's orange. And that's another one you can combine with other scents. So yeah, so it depends on what you like, but that's a really, really, really yummy one, especially if you have any nerves related to sex, or it's, I don't know, maybe you haven't had sex in a while and you're like, what's going to happen? I mean, you know what's going to happen, but you know what I mean, feelings wise, what's going to happen. Orange can kind of, I was going to say dilute that, but yes, dilute that, help that be a more calming experience. Or if you're about to have sex with someone for the first time because you're just in a different place in life, that can really help you just calm down. So orange does a lot. And again, from a health perspective, awesome, because D-limonene. You can look that up on the PubMed also. Short version, next. Mr. Okay, this is awesome. So this has a slide too. This is another one. It is for him and her, but we're going to focus more on the men now in terms of what's good for their soldier, penis, popsicle. So we're going to talk about this now with Mr. Okay, so this blend helps the prostate to function optimally, which is a big part of his libido and performance. It also supports healthy testosterone levels, which men need to be stalwart in the bedroom. You can apply Mister to his ankles and to the front and back of his pelvis. Lucy says to apply daily for optimal prostate performance. It smells quite nice, actually, and it's really soothing in a bath or worn as a cologne. Ironically, women need certain levels of testosterone as well, but not nearly as much as men do. We need more estrogen and progesterone. When these levels fall too low, we can get cuckoo bird grumpy. And occasionally that insane irritability can also happen when your estrogen is too high and your testosterone is too low. I know it sounds crazy, not enough testosterone, but we need it too. For women who are estrogen dominant, adding estrogen to their lives, even if it's natural, doesn't make them more balanced, obviously. That's kind of speaks to Sarah's point. If you can get some testing done before, you can figure out what your level's at and kind of pick which oils best support that. Often if you do, like, the best thing about these oils is it'll usually conform to what your body needs. When it comes to hormone, it is a little bit different. That's why the testing makes a little bit more sense if you're able to do so. Okay, so some women found that Mister helped them with hot flashes and mood swings. Women who tend to feel more balanced using Mister fall in the category of being estrogen dominant, and they tend to be older than 30, but that's not a hard and fast rule. If you find that the typical female balancing oils don't make you feel better, give Mister a try. It was made for a man, but Mister can swing both ways. So it actually smells really good too. So that's a good one to have on hand for lots of reasons. So now we're gonna move to Idaho Blue Spruce, which I just found that I had like 3 extra bottles of, so I'm really excited by, because I thought I was running out. No, it's here. Okay, so, oh, it smells almost like Christmas trees. Okay, so I love this oil for many reasons, but we're gonna talk about it in the spruce reason. So as you see, my name is Spruce for a good reason, so you can guess where this is going. So, this is one of Lucy's favorite oils for him. And by that, we mean oil that your man can wear to make more sex more awesome for you. So for us ladies. Because let's face it, when intimacy is better for us, it's often better for them too. And kind of vice versa too. You want everyone to be in a happy, intimate, sexy, fun mood in, perfection time. Okay, because let's face it, when intimacy is better for you, better for him, and it happens more often. And she said that's something that Mr. Libido likes a lot and wants to pass along to all the men out there. Mr. Libido has an oil that he really likes. It's called Idaho Blue Spruce, and it really does spruce him up in a very good way. It helps a guy stay firmer longer so that you can enjoy yourself longer too. It's nature's version of that little blue hexagon. This sprucing oil is like a military call to stand at attention. It can be used with coconut oil as a lubricant or mixed in an inner thigh potion. So here's a nice thing about it as well. Your man's soldier isn't left with any unmanageable salutes. So with certain things that help erections stay for a long time, that's a really long time and they don't stop. And that's probably very uncomfortable. I do not know from experience, but I have heard if you just have an erection for 100 hours, that's not fun. So you want one that's, a good amount of time. And so this actually, what Lucy says, it naturally wears off after playtime, but it keeps things going longer and helps with firmness. She's like, we won't promise actual numbers, but let's just say that it works and stands at attention. So Idaho Blue Spruce is pretty fun. I will say that, also from experience. The next two, which they're one side at a time, but these next, so that one and the next two are my 3 magicalness for extra hardness for a long time after all the things. So we'll go into that after these 3, but just to let you know. So now we're talking about Goldenrod, and I'm sure you can guess golden and rod, need we say more. So now Lucy makes a good point, results will vary because every man's body is going to react different to different oils, just as ours does. Lucy recommends using Idaho Blue Spruce in a warm-up session. She recommends diluting the oils the first time you use them, as we talked about. Spot test them, and so I kept pointing to my forearm. I should have said that. That's where you can spot test a lot. Or again, if you feel comfortable, you've been using oils a while, you could spot test on the inner thigh just to see where you're going with that. Okay, so once you spot tested, then you can apply to the lower shaft of his soldier around his love stones. So balls. Lucy says to avoid the eye of the one-eyed snake. So don't get it inside there. And again, this is, she does talk about dilution. So when I've done this, I have diluted with coconut oil. I was like, what the hell did I use? So mostly just plain coconut oil, and you can play around there, and it's kind of fun. Okay, so Lucy says to avoid the eye of the one-eyed snake, oils don't go in the eyes, snake eyes. For more soldier support, you can actually take 5 to 8 drops of Idaho blue spruce daily as a dietary supplement to increase testosterone and saluting performance. So that's another one that's actually grass, so generally regarded as safe, and he could take that every day if he's having some issues in that way. So goldenrod. Once upon a time, there was a plant named goldenrod. The oil from the flowering top of the plant was found to improve circulation and aid the urinary tract. I always forget that. Okay, so urinary tract, if you have any issues with that, keep this in mind. According to the University of Montreal in Canada, it was also found to help deflated hoses and firmness of the penis. And she's like, the body part we've come to refer to as the soldier. So however you want to look at that. Lucy told her friends about this blessed oil's useful advantages, and they gave it a try. Her friends reported back an increase in firmness using goldenrod topically as well as internally. So it's another one that's generally regarded as safe for consumption. Lucy teases that she loves goldenrod so much that she refers to it as the golden rod, because truly that's what it does. It's very good news for those who want a little more gold in their rod. You can use goldenrod topically in a soldier and love stone massage or mix an inner thigh love potion. You can also choose to take, she says, 3 drops in a capsule. So there's lots of little ways to use goldenrod. I've used it in the massage way with coconut oil, mostly for whatever reason on the lower back, and then also around the balls. So goldenrod, yes, and also internally. I forgot about that, because our next one, I'm going to go back into the internal aspect. So we'll talk about that section in a moment. So now we're going to nutmeg. I think of nutmeg and fall holiday cooking, but in this case, it does a hell of a lot more. So nutmeg's another blood pumping must have for your mister. Technically, it can be used for the ladies too, but we have seen the best results using it for the guys. Nutmeg's energizing properties stimulate both physical and sexual energy. Some people report feeling wired after diffusing or ingesting nutmeg, and can be comparable to a caffeine kick, just without the racing heart and negatives on that end, depending on your body's chemistry. Nutmeg is an aphrodisiac in more than one way. Emotionally, it stimulates energy, and physically, it increases circulation. Remember what that means. Simply put, this oil acts as a vasodilator. Vaso is the blood vessels, and dilator makes it bigger. Sarah mentioned this too. So again, this works really well for making the penis bigger and harder. So put 2 and 2 together, she says, although I just said it, so whatever. Nutmeg is so stimulating. Actually, if you consume it in excessive amounts, it can have a little bit of a negative effect. So do not drink the entire bottle. Most things in Young Living, I'm like, you can't really OD. And you probably wouldn't OD on this in a bad way, but like, don't do it. So disclaimer, don't drink the bottle. She literally says no drinking a whole bottle and hopes to transform into Captain America, okay? If energy, stamina in the bedroom is what you're after, then try this fun little recipe called Lucy's Perky Pill. It's a result of a fun time trial and error in her research group of friends. It's 5 drops Idaho blue spruce, 3 drops goldenrod, and 3 drops nutmeg in a capsule with 10 drops olive oil. Have him take 10 to 30 minutes before go time for optimal circulation. Ladies, it works. It really does, for a long time, a very long time. In fact, I was so surprised by this day of activity, and it was wonderful and magical, but it does. So I'll repeat that recipe because it's very important. Is that 5 drops of Idaho blue spruce, 3 drops of goldenrod, and 3 drops of nutmeg in a capsule. She used 10 drops of olive oil. I have no idea if I used anything when I gave it to the gentleman I was seeing at the time, but let me tell you, magical, just very magical. We just couldn't get over it. I mean, I had been using oils for like 4 years at this time, and I still was like, what the hell, this is amazing. So no joke. So that's my like magical combo uno. And I added, no, nutmeg's in there. Okay. So those 3, I magically comboed those. And I was like, where did I get that? That's where I got it from. And yes. And so she says 10 to 30 minutes, and that's true. It can take some time to get things rolling, which is great because then you can just make out or do whatever the hell you want. But that is like, yes. So yes, I can repeat the combo. Okay, so 5 drops of Idaho blue spruce, 3 drops of goldenrod, 3 drops of nutmeg, okay, in a capsule. So Young Living sells the little veggie capsules that are like, I don't know, $7 for like a million, which I have them for a whole host of other reasons too, but this reason works too. And then she said she uses 10 drops of olive oil in there for like a carrier oil. When I did it, I probably did like 5 drops of goldenrod, 5 of nutmeg, and 5 of Idaho blue spruce, or 6, 7. I like increased it because I was like, fuck this shit, let's see what happens. You do whatever you want. I just want to let you know what I did. And it was great. It was magical, like I said. You can also use like liquid coconut oil that's for consumption. And yeah, so whatever works for you if you do want to carry it. Or if your man is like, what the hell is this craziness? You could soften it with the carrier. But it is truly incredible. Yes. So if you want a man to stay hard for a long time, no matter what happens, it's fabulous. And it's 10 to 30 minutes before activities begin. Every man's a little different. Also the proportions, like she uses that as an example, the 3, 5, 3, 3, and 5. But if like that doesn't work for the man you're with, he's open, try it again, we'll say the next day, whenever the hell you want, with adding some more and seeing, maybe doing a massage with some of the other man oils beforehand. Because again, as we've been talking about at length, every person's different. So that one I do know worked really well. This is my ex-boyfriend, for him, and it was a great freaking time. So awesome. But again, make your own life choices. So yes, that's my like extra exciting story about that. Okay, and then yes, feel free to ask any questions either in the chat or with the hand raised too, or at the end, or privately. Okay, so we're gonna move to our next slide, which is Hong Kwai. And I really like the smell of this one, I think. Hold on. Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, confidence in a bottle. So this is one I think I've done a lot of massagers with because it's also very like, I guess earthy's the word, but she'll probably talk about that. Okay, so this is about confidence. And again, maybe you've had sex with the same person 150 times, but you're just feeling a little off that day. You're like, oh, I don't know, I feel fat, or whatever it is that goes through our freaking heads before this shit. Put this on, or put all of it on, whatever. But Hong Kwai is really good for that confidence boost. So Hong Kwai is called confidence in a bottle. It's got the highest sesquiterpene content of all aphrodisiac oils. Hong Kwai is like inhaling liquid confidence. So Hong Kwai is distilled from trees that grow on the steep rainforest mountaintops of Taiwan. I imagine that whoever can get up there to retrieve these trees must have had some liquid confidence given to them from their Tarzan ancestors. Of course, I imagine a really sexy built Tarzan. I'm like, ooh, because we're talking all about sex now. So who else would have such confidence and courage to ascend to the tops of the earth for such a priceless oil? They probably have developed grappling muscles from climbing the mountaintops. Emitting the scent of deep, woody pheromones, they can capture their ladies like Mr. Libido. But I digress. It's true, I smell this and I'm like, oh my God, yes. So Hong Kwai is a member of the Cypress family. Remember how much Lucy loves Cypress for its ability to increase blood flow? Hong Kwai is the man's Cypress. It smells like a woodsy, handsome man just waiting to whisk you away. It really does. I think of those Harlequin romance novels from way back, and those men with the long hair and the muscles and the just, yeah. Google that if you've never seen it. So anyway, a little goes a long way, she says. Add a drop or two to any lube, serum, or love potion. Lucy's Soldier Serum is a lube that gives slip to both partners, but starts on him for maximum blood flow. So again, we'll talk a little bit about that in the DOI. Not that that may be in yours, Chantel, but that's one you can use. And if you actually get her the Big Lucy book, she has a lot of recipes in there. Yep, see, Chantel's got it. So there's a lot in there. The little book that I'm reading from is like much tinier. So if you want more information, more recipes, more details, yep, exactly. Chantel's got it. So that's just some of them. That's just one page. So, and I think it's like $14.99 on Amazon, or you can go on her website and get a whole bunch of other stuff, including this. So Hong Kwai, Really delicious. Okay, guys, we're at our last oil, which is weird, but it's true. So this is called Shutron. I love this smell. I just do. Okay, so here we go. Shutron is formulated for the man to wear to help turn on the lady. It's like a bottle of sweet-smelling pheromones wafting into the hidden parts of your brain, stimulating your naughtiest imagination. Once you realize what Shutron can do for you, oh, then it becomes worth every penny. It smells really, really attractive. Now, what does Shutron do for the man? Let's just say it's loaded with Idaho blue spruce, which we all know is the blue little hexagon of happiness. It makes sense that Idaho blue spruce is a key ingredient in Shutron. It also contains hinoki, a Japanese cypress, and yangling for male-female energy. He can wear it daily, I know a lot of guys that do, like a cologne to boost testosterone and confidence. He can use Shutron topically on the forearms or on the inner thighs. And try applying a drop to the shaft. Rub it in. Oh, girls, you'll love your Shutron man. That's what she says. And it's true. So again, you can use coconut oil at first, spot test. We've already been through this. So again, I love that one. And there's like Shutron body wash and other assorted Shutron items. Oh yeah, there we go. Chantal has it. Oh, the beard oil. I forgot about it. I need to get that. Hold on, I gotta write that down. So because there really is like so many of these products that go with all of this amazingness. And I learn, it's not that I haven't read this book 1,000 times, but I'm like, I forgot to get this. So now I know. So thank you, beard oil. Okay, because I forget about that. I don't have a beard, but my fiance does. So we're gonna give that to him because why the fuck not? So guys, that is like ending some of this stuff. There is so much more in that book, and we can also talk way more in depth about specifics, but for the end, this is the end of the beautiful Lucy Libido cast. Yes, ask questions, raise hands, do it in the chat, say whatever you want. Oh good, I'm glad you learned things, because there really is a lot. And so if we were in person, it's even more fun because we're usually drinking a glass or two of wine, and then we're going to make these things together. So Chantel's going to do the DIY. Ash is going to introduce first, but normally we'd all be doing this. So just pretend. So next time we're all together if we can. Yes, exactly, an in-person class. And so it's just fun, and I want fun in my life. So I love these oils, and I love sex. So happy that. And ask away with any questions at any time.
Wow, thank you, Leah. That was amazing. Oh my God, so much information. I have been to your class before, I think once or twice this one, and each time I learn something new. I take away something different.
So glad.
Maybe just because it's so much, I like just, certain things stick out, but I just love it. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So before we do our DIY and you learn how to make one of these inner thigh potions, we'll have our last raffle. So put in the chat your favorite oil, maybe one of the oils that Leah talked about, you might want to try or that you have tried. Yeah, any one of those. And then Chantel, if you want to show us your inner thigh serum.
You can't see my inner thighs, but I will show you the serum.
Well,
I just first want to say, Leah, I love you too. And you know that, and you know why, all the reasons. I saw your class in person before I was part of this group, and I ran out and bought the book because there was so much information. And it wasn't even just the libido stuff for me, it was the hormone stuff for me too. And for my husband, he's got a history of prostate cancer in his family. So I was like, I'm getting the prostate one for him. He's going to be using that and he's going to be healthy. So just, for everybody listening, it's not just about sex, although that's the best part. It's so much more. It's so much more. And this is like, I think I'm just going to slide this under his pillow and make him read this too. So we're going to do an inner thigh potion for him and for her. Apply from the inner mid thigh to the leg crease. Make ahead and store in a bottle and keep it in the bedroom. We showed you the little diagram about the inner thigh, but it can also go about 2 inches below the navel in the pelvic area as well, even though we call it the the inner thigh portion, 2 inches below the navel as well. So I had a dropper bottle. I prefer a serum bottle for this, but I don't have one right now, but you guys are going to get a serum bottle. We're going to use ylang ylang. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, Cypress. And lovely lavender. Use this in the kitchen today because I burned my thumb. But that I digress, as we usually do. I'm just going to keep my recipe next to me so I remember. So it's going to be 20 drops of ylang ylang. I may not even do all of them because it'll take a really long time. And we've been here for a really long time. So you will get all the drops for your, if you're a raffle winner. But 20 drops of ylang ylang, 20 drops of Cypress, and that just shows you how powerful these two are. So, and again, say, oh, Cypress comes out a little easier. 20 drops of that. And then 5 drops of lavender. Which I think this bottle is almost out because I had it all over my thumb today. 1, 2, yeah. I just got a new one though with my PV promo for my May month, which is amazing. And then we're going to finish it off with 50 drops of carrier oil. Again, this is a pump, so I'm not really measuring 50 drops. So with your DIY, you will get the bottle with the essential oils in it. You just have to add your carrier oil. Swirl, swirl, swirl. Drop, drop, drop. I'll not be putting this on my inner thigh at the moment, but yes, I love it. I'm going to make my husband go smell it after we're done. So that's it for me. Again, this book is amazing. There are many, many recipes in it, as you can see. I highly recommend it. I'm sure we've all invested many, many dollars in our love life for $12 or $13 or whatever it is. I think it's a good investment. And that's that.
Thank you, Chantel. That sounds amazing. I bet it smells great. I wish we could all be together.
Television. Kate, your hand.
There's a question in the chat from Melinda. She said, what oil did you use with them? I'm not sure if you used a carrier or...
I use organic coconut fractionated oil. So the reason you get the fractionated, you can see, you know, most coconut oil that you cook with or whatever is solid. So fractionated coconut oil stays liquid. That's what the fractionated means. Not the scientific term, but that's what that means. So just, this is the one I use. It's organic because we don't want anything non-organic on our bodies, especially down in those parts.